Good evening. So this video is pretty much dedicated to these load cells I bought from Blue Ink Tech. I got them out of the States. They're a T-valve you put in your airline on your truck, and it converts air pressure to a digital weight in kilograms, and it sends it by Bluetooth to your phone. So there was a step to it. I put them in. Really easy to do. Actually, all you do is cut the airline, and it's got those slide-in fittings, so you just slide the airline into either side, and then boom, it's in there. They're battery powered. I just put them in there a couple weeks ago, so I don't know how long the battery is going to last. I expect up in northern Alberta it's not going to last as long as it does in California, but we'll see when we get there. So you put them in, it registers the air pressure right away, sends you a weight that is totally irrelevant, right? You have to calibrate them. So we have a scale, DOT scale, about 30 kilometers from our farm. So I just whipped up there empty. I weighed it, entered the empty weights in. I came back home. I loaded it up with barley. I went back up, entered the full weights, and it was within 1 kg. And I thought, okay, well that's to be expected, right? Because I entered the exact weight and the exact weight on the cement, like right on the scale, right? So I mean, that's as good as you're gonna get. So I thought it'll be a test. I'll drive all the way home and I'll park it in my uneven yard or whatever, and I'll see what the readout is. So I got it parked here and let it sit for a while, backed the truck up, moved it forward, actually backed the trailer like kind of into some, where I hadn't plowed the snow yet, so it was kind of sinking and everything else. And then I let it, I let the air pressure stabilize throughout the whole truck and trailer, and it was within like, I think 30 kilograms. So that's crazy. I'm not sure how accurate it will be. Tomorrow and the next day, or the next day whenever I get this unloaded, I'm gonna do 2 more trips up to the scale just to verify that it is accurate. So that's what this whole video is gonna be about. So the big day is finally here for my pressure gauges on my truck. I bought these gauges. They're supposed to convert the air pressure that reads onto those gauges to a digital readout, and it actually sends it to your phone from Bluetooth. So I put the sensors on, well, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I just been so busy doing everything else that I never got a chance to calibrate them. So my wife and I drove up. We're right close to the BC border, so there's an Alberta scale there, a DOT scale. So we drove up empty and we weighed the axles. You gotta weigh the steer, then the drives, then this bridge, and then the back tandem. So we weighed all that. We entered that calibration into the app. I'm gonna fill it up now, and then I'm gonna run back up to the scale, and I'm gonna enter the full loads into the app, and then the calibration process should be done. The guy I bought these from, he said you should only have to calibrate it once. So I don't know how it's gonna work. We entered the empties in, and the app was all messed up. So maybe you need to do them both before it works. I don't know, but we're gonna try it out. We should know here by the end of the day. So I got my first trailer full. So how these work normally is these gauges here. And the way my truck goes to be legal is 55, 42, 50, and then they're all about 70, 72. So that one's already at, it's close enough to 42. So this trailer should be legal. It should be about 21 ton. So now that's all okay if you're just guesstimating and you're going to run into the elevator where they're going to weigh you anyways. But if you're going to, if you're going to try to sell it directly off your farm and you don't have a scale, it would be nice to know the app goes it'll get down to 10 kgs, not just a reference that, if it's at 70, it's probably, because they are very accurate for getting like a legal weight, but they're not, you don't know exactly. You don't know if 42.5 or 43.1. So hopefully these sensors that I bought work out. Okay, so I should be legal here, like right around 70, you know, in between 70 and 72 is where I've always loaded them to when I custom hauled. This one you can see is about at 70, that's at 71. That's by design. I am going up to a like a federal or provincial, I guess, DOT, I don't know, maybe it's federal, but I'm going up to a DOT scale, like an Albertan DOT scale, so it'd be pretty stupid to go up there overloaded. You know, especially because I'm going up there to weigh, so hopefully my truck comes, like my truck legal is 63.5. Hopefully I come in around, you know, 62 something would be nice. The instructions on these things say get as close to full as you can. I'm gonna jump in now. It's about 25 minutes back up to the scale. Go up there, get my loaded weights, and we'll see how this thing works.
Okay, good.
Alright, so we just got back to the yard. Unbelievable how taking a trip 25 kilometers, or sorry, 30 kilometers, and then weighing, and then 30 kilometers back, it can go from being bright daylight to pitch black. It is pitch black. Unbelievable. When I typed in the loaded weights into the calibration menu of that app, it came within 1 kilogram. And I was just like, okay, well that's a no-brainer. I mean, it's on the cement, and you know, that's a nice DOT scale there. So of course, right, if you enter the right numbers, it should read the right thing. So we'll see how we weigh when we get home. So we drove all the way back here, rattling and rolling, and the grain shaking around in there and doing its thing. And I'm gonna upload some pictures, so I think it was still within 10 kgs. Now I don't actually know what certified scales, I mean, they can't be 100% accurate, right? There has to be a margin of error. The guy did tell me when I bought these, they were 99% accurate. He said Super Bs were a little trickier, right? Usually things only take 2 load cells. Ours take 3 load cells. And anyways, for the neighbor, he wants 3 loads. So this is going to be the first one. When he's going to come get it with his truck. So when he gets it empty, I'm going to fill it up again. I'm going to run back up to the scales just to check it. And then I'm going to do that for both his loads. So if it remains accurate for the next 3 loads, then I would say that's good enough for me, right? That would be good enough for most people. So it is supper time, I guess. I guess I didn't make any bags today. Oh, one thing I never filmed. Unbelievable. So we go up to start the truck. It's been parked there forever. And pop the hood, check the oil, and there's a cross piece down under the engine. And I looked, or under the transmission, and I looked down there, and I was like, oh, a bit of red in there, eh? No big deal, it's antifreeze. So I look up, and yeah, there's a hose dripping. So I was like, ooh, perfect, because, you know, external leaks are okay. Internal leaks on an engine, not so good. So then we come wheeling down here, and I was like, well, I'm going to get a new hose and put some new hose clamps on there. So I get the hoses put on, and I look, and it's dripping out of this truck has a coolant filter, and it's dripping out of there. And I was like, what the heck? So, you know, what do you do when something's leaking, right? You try to tighten it. So I give her a little tighten, and then holy moly, I must have broke the O-ring or whatever. I only turned it a little bit, and then it started pouring out of there. So we got some clean pails, and we got the antifreeze drained out of there. My wife ran into town, got a new filter, put it on. So you know, things like that you can't even get mad at. I mean, what better place to break down than right in front of the magic shop, right? You don't have no flares out on the highway. You're not impeding nobody's traffic. You don't have none of that nonsense. You just drive it down here, fix the leaks, and life is good. All right, so that's it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and have supper, put a light on our Advent tree. That was definitely one of the more interesting things I've done on the farm. That's a little bit of new tech there. So as always, to everybody that watches, thank you. Any new people, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, anybody that does watch, if you know of a farmer that's hauling grain with trailers that are not spring suspension, like that needs airbags, send them this video, because when I talked to that guy that I bought these from in the States, he said, you know, there's only a few people in Canada that have these. It looks like it's going to work okay. I'm going to do a updated video on the next few loads that I haul to see if it, you know, stays within reason. But certainly for anybody with their own truck, you know, it's nice peace of mind to know what your load weighs. So everybody, have a good night, and we'll see you all on the next one.